Hello, friends. So, found out when I walked in today that the batteries I use for this camera did not charge, and so I am currently running off of the internal battery of the Sony FX3 over there, and I need to fix something because I'm pretty sure this is showing log, which I don't want. There, where's the other camera? Oh, we're definitely not doing that. Found. FX3, where you at? All right, well, that's not going to happen, I think. So I don't know why it dumped my camera connection. Let me see if I can get it through this other app, this old one. Failed to connect. Huh. It seems like it lost the camera. You know what? It's fine. We're just going to live with it. I'm in log today, so all my colors are flat. And if you want to color grade this, you can. That is an option. So anyways, what up, y'all? How you doing? Yeah, it's been a summer. I've been busy. Things have been good. We've been cooking over here. What's going on, Bridge? What's going on, V Dog? What's happening, Sleepy Sam? Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, so basically I'm coming up against what I think I might call a summer break. Um and I think I can feel the beginnings of burnout happening, which is never a good sign. And I think my reasons for that are a fewfold. I think the biggest one is that I just have too much going on, and it's just not leaving me time to not be fully on. Um, and that's just not sustainable. Like, it doesn't matter how much fun I'm having, you just can't be on 100% of the time. It doesn't work that way. So what I'm kind of learning, and what I'm realizing is, like, first I really need to get help. Um, the I've got a job description written for an operations person. The things that I have to work out is I'm trying to figure out how benefits work, because the last time I had a company, all of my all everybody I worked with was a contractor, and so I didn't have any benefit stuff. I would really like to fix that. I would like to offer benefits. Um, and then I also need to figure out how things like unemployment and all of the other taxes that are associated with having full-time employees work, so that I can calculate how much it's actually going to cost me, which helps me understand how much I can actually afford to pay somebody. My goal is to be able to put it out in like the 75 grand range, for an operations person. And then obviously my intention is for that to grow over time, and for this person to, potentially become, like, assuming Code TV grows into something huge, like the COO kind of role. So it's definitely not going to be, I don't know. I think it's going to be hard, because I don't really know how to hire for a role like that. I don't really know how to determine whether or not somebody is a good fit for that sort of thing. I think this is where it gets really hard for companies. And this is the trap I fell into last time, is I didn't know how to hire for things like this. And so I started delegating the things that I did understand, and I was hiring engineers, I was hiring designers, and then I realized at the end that I'd kind of painted myself into this corner where the only thing left for me to do was all the stuff I hated, which is why I got out of my agency last time. Is I basically over time stopped being a developer and a designer and started being a salesperson and an accountant and an operations person. And that's all the stuff I don't want to do. So this time I'm going to try to be more intelligent about it. And instead of hiring like an engineer, which is my first instinct is like, oh, well, if I could tell somebody what to code, but I mean, I can code, right? And I like to code. And so what I can't do very well is actually run an operation. Like I am not a project manager, product manager. Schedules and systems are kind of grating for me. So having somebody who can help me keep that stuff going, keep the trains running on time, build out content plans, post the right things on the right social media. I've got this mountain of clips to post, and I just haven't done it because it's, it's just not part of, well, it's kind of part of my routine, but I don't like routines. And so I'll get off my routine because I grate against the idea of doing the same thing every day. So it kind of turns into this whole thing where like I'm working against what I like, and that leaves me with lower energy to do things that I want to do. Like, I really want to do an overhaul of the way that Learn with Jason works, because I have a feeling that I could vastly improve the show with some pretty minor tweaks. And the idea being like, if I have Learn with Jason as a live stream, but then the live stream itself doesn't live forever. Instead, the way that it would work is we would actually break the show into two pieces. There would be the podcast, which is the opening of Learn with Jason, where we talk about what is this tool, why is it important, how does it impact developers, where does it fit into the stack, what are the trade-offs, all those things that we talk about now that I think are really useful and that somebody could listen to on their commute. They could put it on while they go to the train. Like they don't necessarily need to be watching to get the value out of that, because it's a discussion. It's the high level, right? And then when we go deep, that's a second show. And I feel like for somebody who just wants to get their hands dirty, they're probably skipping over that intro to where we start coding anyways. So why not break the show into two pieces? And if you want to watch it live, it's going to go more or less the same as it always did. It'll have a little bit more structure, probably some pauses while we do the transition between the podcast style and the pair programming style. But functionally, it's the same experience for people live. And then the recorded version, instead of being just a live recording, would be two lightly edited. One is a podcast that would get released as a audio and video version, and one as the like first steps with tool. And so I feel like, but I just need to sit down and plan that and think about like, why would somebody watch the hands-on version versus listen to the high level, and make sure that the design is there so that the high level is delivering what it should and the hands-on is delivering what it should, for those to be individually valuable, as opposed to right now I think that if you're, well, and I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, if you watch Learn with Jason, my hunch is that the value of Learn with Jason right now is that it's for somebody who is actively assessing a tool. I think people find Learn with Jason episodes when they are in the consideration phase. Like they've been told they need to solve a problem at work. They are looking at a handful of tools, and they watch an episode of Learn with Jason to get a sense of what a tool is like before they do a pilot on their own. That's what I think it is. I don't think people like casually watch Learn with Jason, or at least not many people casually watch it. And my theory is that people would casually listen to what's going on in the like tooling world podcast if it was 20-ish minutes of the creators answering questions about like, what is this tool? Why does it matter? Who does it help? What are the use cases? Those are the sorts of things that I think it's just easy to keep up on it, so that you at least know what the names of the tools are and kind of how they're being used and why they're cool. And then the hands-on is still consideration phase, but we can make it a little more approachable so that it would basically be like, if you are the creator of that tool, it's a perfect fit for your docs, because it's like, all right, this is the no fluff, empty monitor or empty editor. Let's go from zero to functional. And we would step through that kind of a process. So to me, that feels like the right evolution, but I got to sit down and plan it and do the work. And I've been doing so much operation stuff that I haven't had time to like sit down and think about that. I'm also doing a ton of sales. I don't think I'm going to get away from doing sales. Partially because I like it. I mean, I really do like getting on a call and just sitting and talking to somebody about what's possible. Like I had a call yesterday where somebody was sort of like, well, we want to do a little more with video but here's like a rough idea. And then from that rough idea, we spun up 4 or 5 different things that could work. And we were both, I mean, I was super excited about it. They were super excited about it. And now it's just a matter of like, can we, does it make sense for them to do the budget for it? Because it's, none of this stuff is cheap. And I don't see any world where I get away from that because really, like, that's what has made Code TV valuable, is that sort of collaboration where a company comes and says like, hey, we've got this feature, here's this thing, and here's kind of like our rough idea of how we want to market. And it's like, great, what if we took that and we did XYZ with it? And then we kind of feedback off of each other until we've got something that we're both really excited about. I think that is what makes Code TV special, is that it is this sort of collaborative creation. And I know that there are other people who can do that, and eventually it'd be great to have people who help me with that. But now I think that's sort of like my unique advantage. That's the thing that makes Code TV. So I don't think I get to step away from that. But like, I also pay invoices. I also send out all the like prep emails and the onboarding emails, and they're copy paste, right? I'm using templates. I'm filling out like updating dates and changing links, but otherwise it's a copy paste almost every time for all those operations emails. And then when those things come in, they go into spreadsheets, and those spreadsheets have to get turned into call sheets and the coffee order and the invites for different, like, it's a lot of stuff that is not, it's work that is so vital to this company functioning, but it's also stuff that is a checklist. And for somebody who is checklist oriented and is good at systematizing things, my checklists are half complete. I think somebody who was good at systems and was like a systems person would come in and immediately make huge efficiency improvements to the way that Code TV operates right now. And I think that they would then be able to like step through those lists and just keep things moving so well inside of Code TV. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about a lot. Yeah, go take the time off. I know I'm gonna. What's up, Lacondo? How you doing? Yeah, exactly. Like ops assistant, and then chief of staff, and then COO. I mean, that's sort of what I'm hoping for, is that it would be the sort of thing that would be like it's a role that somebody can grow into, and it's really just like, well, or not. Like, it could be something where somebody comes in and they help me build some systems, and they like learn how I'm running the channel, and then they take everything they've learned and they move off and do their own channel, right? Like, I think that's perfectly acceptable. I would love to see somebody come in and use this as a learning opportunity to then go off and do their own thing. I'm also, obviously the part of me that wants to see Code TV expand. Like, I'd love to just start building a group of people who really get it and are like bought in, um, who want to grow and see how far we can take it, right? Because that's what it's going to require, I think, is partners. And I'm trying really, really hard not to take venture capital. So it's going to take people who see the vision and understand that, like, the better we do on this, the more we all get to take home. And I'm also working with the accountants to figure out what things like profit sharing and stuff like that work, because I've ranted on this before, so I won't go too far on it. But like, I really believe that one of the ways we've lost our way in like late stage capitalism, or whatever you want to call it, is that we've removed the incentive for companies to treat workers well, and we've removed the incentive for workers to care about their companies. Like, everything right now is built on investors. The investors don't care about the company, they care about the profit. And that means that the businesses aren't incentivized to take care of employees. They're incentivized to minimize costs so that they can maximize profit. And because the employees are now seen as a cost center, they don't see themselves as being part of it. They see themselves as being hands that are there to like create profit for the leadership team and the investors. I feel like in a company that is not funded by investors, you can instead change that incentive to be like, look, here's what we all get paid, and it's reasonable salaries, and then at the end of the year, based on how well we do, we all take a share of the profit, and like we just kind of know this is how the company functions. We need to put this much aside to cover slow months and to make sure that we've got money for, investing in our marketing and our operations and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, 20% of the profit is going to go back into the employees' pockets. And there's so many complicated questions to answer about that with like, how much does somebody get? Is it based on seniority? Is it based on role? Is it based on all these other things? I don't know. I don't have answers to those questions. These are the sorts of things I want to think about. But like, if the goal is, if you come in and you help me do this job and you help me double the revenue of Code TV, you should see a huge bonus and your salary should go up, right? That should be the incentive, is like, if we go do good work, we continue to make more money. And I really don't like this idea that a CEO is somehow considered like the most valuable person in a company, to the point where they can charge 300 400 times what the lowest paid employees work. That doesn't make any sense to me, because if you run a restaurant, you want people to be heavily incentivized to do great work in that restaurant, because you want everybody to know that your restaurant is the best restaurant, right? And if the dishwashers at your restaurant are making 50% more than anywhere else in the city, then only the people who really care are going to come and take that job, because it's like a great job. You don't want to lose it. You've got benefits. You get paid more than you could anywhere else. And it's the sort of place where, like, if you do good work, the place takes care of you. I feel like that used to be a standard in businesses, was that, the businesses they paid pensions, they had 401ks, they really made sure that their employees were taken care of. And as a result, people would stay with companies for 40 years. And, you'd get your job out of college at a company, you'd stay there until you were 65 and you would retire, because you knew that if you did well, the company would promote you, you'd get raises, you'd get a pension, and you'd be taken care of in your retirement. And we've just slowly stripped all that away, because we profit, we're maximizing profit, and the profit goes to investors, not to employees. And so it turns into this, like, all the incentives are wrong. So with Code TV, I want to see if I can experiment with doing it the way that I think it should be done, which is that, the employees feel a lot of ownership, and the better we do as a team, the better the bigger our bonuses are, the more money we're able to make, the more, we should all be proud of it, and we should all earn the benefits of that work. And I think that, I feel like that's how businesses should run. So we're gonna see if we can do it that way. But it does mean I have to go figure out a whole bunch of stuff about taxes, because I don't know what that means. Like, how badly do profit shares get taxed? Is there a better way to do it that I don't know about, that's not necessarily a profit share, but has the same net outcome, with maybe maybe it's taxed as regular income instead of a bonus? Because I know a bonus gets taxed at like 50% or something wild. So all stuff like that you just have to figure out. Yeah, they don't care about profit as much as they do valuation and all. Yeah, I don't know that stuff. Any plan to possibly add live stuff? Can you expand on that, Vinny? I'm not sure what that means. But I think, like, right now, the way I'm talking about this, it's all very hypothetical. Because I have to get like, it's all stuff I want to do, and it's all stuff that I think is very important. But if I don't figure out how to get help in areas where I'm weak, like operations, it's not going to matter, because I'm going to burn out. And then if I burn out, it's just that's the slow spiral. And that's what happened with my agency. And I really don't want that to happen again. So, live streaming like we are now. Yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, the way that I would love for this to work is I would love to have just a big group of people who are like in line with the Code TV ethos. Like, we're excited to learn about stuff. We're curious. We like building things. We like sharing what we learn, and let them define what the formats are, and just sort of work with them as an executive producer. Like, we're working on one right now that I'm really excited about, where I'm not going to be in it. I'm the executive producer. Annie Sexton, she's in a lot of the Elite Heat commercials. She's running DevRel over it, or not running, but like is like the face of Fly.io in terms of the videos they're creating. And is, she was in Elite Heat she's the one delivering the spicy bites. Like she's got a great idea. And so I kind of helped her develop it and think through how we would budget it out. And then I built out the plan, and we're pitching that to companies right now. And if I get my way, we'll have the first Code TV program that isn't like centered on me. Or I guess like Elite Heat's not centered on me, but like I'm still in it, right? And with Annie Explains, I won't be in it at all. It'll be Annie's show. And I'm really excited about that. So we're going to push that direction, and working with somebody else. If the thing they wanted to do was a live show, like, yeah, let's talk it through. Let's figure out how to make it work. And again, it's also kind of one of those, like, it depends on whether my gut instinct is right that we can do a community supported channel. Because like, in order to make something like a web dev challenge, the costs are really high, like in the tens of thousands of dollars. So for us to be able to do that at the rates that we charge for Code TV supporters, we would need a pretty high number of supporters. Like we would need probably thousands of supporters, like at least a couple thousand, for it to be feasible for us to make stuff that's not sponsor supported. But I don't necessarily think that it's impossible to do things sponsor support. I mean, it's clearly possible. Like that's how Code TV operates right now, is everything is partnered. So if we could find a live streaming format that made sense that a sponsor wanted to pay for, then 100% would love to do it. If we can get enough like supporters into the Code TV stable that we have the ability to pay somebody to do that show, then yeah, let's do it. I think the thing that I'm trying to figure out and balance is, how do we make sure that whatever we make is improving the community in a way that's sustainable for us to produce. Because I don't want to do stuff like, there's a calculated risk in putting out a pilot where you sort of just, this is part of our marketing budget. We're going to give it a shot. And we know that nobody's going to make it if they can't see it. So we just got to throw in $15,000 or something to make the first version of the show and see what happens. The risk with that, though, is that if we try that and we don't immediately follow it up with like a really well maintained or really well coordinated round of sales to get somebody to see the show and understand the value and then come in and pitch it, then we run the risk of like making a lot of pilots that basically drain Code TV's resources and leave us unable to do more things, right? And that starts to get a little scary. So trying to figure out how to keep the creativity going and continue to experiment in a way that doesn't put us at risk of having to like if I screw this up too badly and I have to go get a side job, like that seems bad. That doesn't bode well for the future of Code TV. So, again, this is the sort of thing where having somebody in operations or having somebody who has a bit more of a financial background or even just like somebody who knows about things like SBA loans or business lines of credit or stuff like that I just don't know anything about. Those are all things that people have mentioned as like, oh yeah, that's like a really easy way to go solve XYZ. I don't know what any of that stuff is, and I don't really know how any of it works. So for me, it puts me in a weird position where I know that's a thing that I should be doing. I know I should be like, I'm also talking about like, right now I'm renting my studio. I have already realized like I'm kind of outgrowing the 2,000 square foot space. And so I kind of want to upgrade, but if I want to upgrade, starting to pay amounts of rent that would honestly make more sense if they were mortgages. So like maybe we buy a building. Is that a thing that we do? I don't know. But I talked to a couple people who work in the business and they were telling me how much their buildings cost. And like, you don't really need as much down if you're buying a commercial property, if you're going to occupy it. So there's all these things that I'm learning that are like, oh wait, maybe I do buy a building. Like, can I do that? Am I allowed? Who knows? But yeah, so I think that's really where I'm at. Like it is definitely wild. There are companies that are employee owned. I agree. And that's a lot of my inspiration is seeing that like you can have a company that is serving the employees and not necessarily pushing uh not pushing all the money up the funnel, right? Like I think that it I don't know, it's to me it seems really easy. Like if I could just snap my fingers and solve one problem, like if I was a billionaire, I feel like I'd be the most popular person on the planet because they like all these billionaires are like unwilling to do anything. And it's like, dude, for like 5% of your net worth, you could change everything. Like, you could build all new infrastructure. You could build public parks and libraries and like make sure that the buses are running every 5 minutes so that people could like let go of cars and we could have walkable city. Like all these things, it would be incredibly possible if there was just money. And if you're a billionaire, like the money is there, you stay a billionaire, right? It's not like you're bankrupting yourself to do this. And then you have this legacy that lives on forever. It's like the Rockefeller thing. Like Rockefeller was a terrible dude, but he did all these public works, and so we remember Rockefeller Center, and we've got all these, all this stuff is named after them because it's in the public space. Anyways, I don't know. It feels like a big miss that would be so easy for somebody who wanted to be a popular billionaire. Let's see. Been working on live streaming stuff. Oh, nice. Yeah, I think like not necessarily getting off of YouTube and Twitch and stuff, but I do really like the idea. I've been kicking around an idea of like maybe the supporters only like some supporters only stuff that would be just sort of behind the scenes. Like, do you want to, if I mount a camera in the corner, making it so that people who are supporters could like watch the production of Web Dev Challenge, and it would just be running all day. It's not something we record. It'd just be a way to sort of like see behind the scenes. And if you wanted to peek behind the curtain and see how we make stuff, I think that'd be really cool. And that would need to stream privately. That wouldn't stream anywhere else. So yeah, stuff like that I think would be very much it's in the consideration. I don't know if it's going to be real, and if it's something that you'd really like to see, like let me know. And well, and I think, but like, so this is sort of going both ways, right? Because the on the one hand, yes, the markets are driving up, lots and lots of opportunities, but the businesses are competing on like, okay, they're competing on salary, but they're also able to just lay people off with no consequences, right? And so the thing that turns into is it's this sort of crisis of why should I care about my job if they won't care about me? And it sort of turns into this companies asymmetric risk is what I will say it is, because as a person, you are going to a company and saying, I'm going to do all of this work and I'm doing it in good faith that if I do a good job, I will continue to be employed. And the companies are saying, we want you to do work. We are not going to make sure that you retire. Like, that's on you. We are going to maybe give you good benefits or maybe not. And if we decide that we want more money, we can lay you off. There will be no consequences. You might get a few months severance, but that's if we're nice. And there's really no downside to the company. And we're seeing that right now, where like during the pandemic, the salaries were just climbing like crazy. Like companies had to compete on intense benefits, 4-day work weeks, and they were offering whatever, like unlimited PTO, but like for real unlimited PTO, not like the weird like unlimited PTO so that accounting is easier, but like the unlimited PTO where they were like, yeah, if you need a day, take a day. Like mental health days are totally fine. Yeah, do whatever you want because we want you to stay, because we know that everybody's offering more money. But now, right, post-pandemic, all of the companies seem to have decided it's time to reassert their dominance, and they're reminding all the employees that they, in fact, hold all the cards. They have eliminated a ton of jobs for no reason. And now when they're like opening those jobs again, competition is fierce, and so they're offering way worse terms. Like, they're saying you need to be in office, you need to be here 60 hours a week. We're not looking for people who want work-life balance, and they're saying that out loud, right? Because they've decided, we are going to remind everybody that the companies are in charge. And that 60 hours a week isn't coming with a 50% pay bump. So sure, maybe they're offering $200,000 a year, but when you factor in the extra 20 hours a week that they expect, you're still not making more. You're making significantly less, and you're probably going to burn out, and you're probably going to have your social life suffer because 60 hours a week isn't sustainable. Um, and all of that to say, like, I think the thing that I want is aligned incentives. Like, if a company knows that its employees are the reason that it does well, and it knows that if it incentivizes the employees to do good work and to stay, that everybody makes more money, and that, like, the company stays strong, and you have higher satisfaction rates, lower turnover, all the things that are important to a company. That's a net good, right? And if the employees know that if they stay, they have a path to retirement, they have a path to advancement, that's a good thing. They want to stay. So the companies right now seem to be they're incentivized to maximize profit. And I think that just, it's very, very hard when you've been told you need to deliver increasing profit to the shareholders every quarter, to then look at the spreadsheet and say, we should offer this pension plan because that means people will stay with us 10 years and that has compounding gains. And they go, that pension plan is going to eat into the profit share. Like, we can't do stock buybacks if we pay for this pension, cut it. And then they start losing employees, and then the profits go down. But the investors don't care, because the investors are in a bunch of businesses. They just want to extract profit from each of the businesses they're invested in. They kind of don't care if one of them goes under, right? So it's just asymmetrical risk is really the thing that I don't like. And so I really, really want, um I just want everybody to recognize that, like, the things are possible there. Could buy a biggish building and rent space to other tech creators. That is part of the plan. If I do it, the goal would be to have a space that was big enough that there could be some offices, that there could be potentially even like retail out front, like get a place where, maybe there's a coffee shop in the building. That'd be pretty dope. And um, things like that. But yeah, partner with half empty office buildings. I do think that would be something to consider. I don't know anything. I mean, me neither, right? Like, I've talked to a couple folks. I think there's some very cool stuff. Um, hey, what's going on, Paul? How you doing? Pulling an all-nighter. Oh, geez. Well, good luck. Um, yeah, the 669. Like, get out of here. I'm not into that. I don't want to see. I don't want to see the belief that you have to work like that. Like, that is ridiculous. And to me, that's, again, because the companies have reasserted their dominance. They're like, look, you need us, right? You can't function without us. And we're unfortunately kind of we're put under the heel a little bit that way, because we do need jobs. Like, you got to work. And if there's 1,000 people applying for literally every job, you don't have a lot of time to, like, consider and push back and negotiate. They'll just offer to the next person in line. It sucks. It sucks, and I don't like it, and I wanna fix it. And so I'm gonna do my tiny part, with my little company that'll maybe ever have 10 employees tops, if I play my cards really, really right. Um, okay, so I wanted to work on, some automations. I've been doing some monorepo stuff. I got the monorepo for Code TV deployed. It's out, it's up, it's running. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it works for local dev now. So if you want to pull the website, you should be able to do it with just clerk keys, like test keys. And I believe that's it. And then the workflows themselves are getting pretty dang powerful. Let me I've been forcing myself to hydrate more, which means I need to use the restroom, and then we'll come back and do some code. Yeah? All right, give me 2 minutes. Be right back. Okay, what are we working on? Let's see. Mauritius? Cool. Very cool. 10 jobs to be providing. I mean, yes, 100%. Like it's baby steps, right? And each of these things is something that maybe didn't exist before, and that's nothing to be sad about. Let me clear all this stuff out. Pull up this repo, and then I'll share my screen here. This one. Screen. All right. So so let's take a peek at the what are you even doing? Oh my God. Okay. So here is the let me get all this on the same screen so that we can work a little more easily. And then where are you? You're going to come over too. All right. So there's our code. Here's our terminal, and then we've got the repo here. So let's close all editors and maybe bump that up a bit and go to folders view. So so just a quick recap or overview for anybody who hasn't seen this before. The way this app is set up, we've got a monorepo. In the monorepo, we have a few different libraries. We've got our content. We've got our short links, which is just all the redirects I use for. This is actually a new one, and it's literally just a Netlify redirects file that like allows me to send things around to places that they're supposed to be, and so on and so forth. Then we have the content, which is the Sanity setup. That's the back end of how I manage the episodes and seasons and things like that. I've got the website, which has that's codetv.dev. I need to migrate partners in here. I haven't done that yet. And then I've got the workflows here, which is the ingest setup. And so the way that works is we are exposing an ingest client. We're using the Astro plugin for ingest so that we're exporting the right methods so that ingest can grab its things. We set an ingest client and we set these functions. The functions are coming out of CodeTV ingest, which is one of the libs, which is down here. And this has all my integrations in it, as well as we've got our client, which pulls in all the different schemas. And those are the event types and like what data they accept. And then we turn those into schemas. We're using Zod for schema management. Checks to see if we've got the keys. These are here just to let somebody know, like if you're doing local dev, any of the workflows won't work if you don't have these keys, but they don't break, which is nice because that is cool. Then we've got our thing here. This event key is so that it knows that it's like an authorization sort of thing. And then there's another environment variable that it auto detects to show that it's you're like you and you're allowed to do it. Then we've got all these functions here. And so each of these is an ingest step that's pulling in all this different stuff. And we broke them up into the service that they're for. So there's Cloudinary, Discord, Google, Sanity, Stripe, and then the website has some custom stuff. All of that gets dropped into this big functions array, which is what we're then exporting into that's what's coming out here. So we get the ingest client, we get the functions, and that's how you set up ingest on a website. That is allowing me to do all sorts of cool stuff. And like I'll look at the one that I'm currently working on that I'm really excited about is the I just finished this web dev challenge one, but let's look at the Learn with Jason booking. This is the one that I've been working on and I'm excited about. I want to get that one finished because it's sort of it does some Calendly stuff. It does some some like automations and it's going to do, my intention is to have it set up the guest in Sanity. So they've got a profile. It's going to give them the option to hook up their Discord so that they'll get the right alumni roles. And they're going to have, I want it to create like a draft in wherever the draft needs to be. Originally, it was going to be in Notion, but now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, we might not need that. So, like what I had is like if we look at this, here's the intake. So when you first click this thing, it's going to get a Google Auth token, which it does by calling this token generate function, and then it's going to get the calendar events, which are the ones on the Learn with Jason calendar. That's a calendar that we open as a public one in case you want to see upcoming episodes on your calendar. So we get that event list, and then we run a quick bit of logic that figures out which dates don't have shows. So it's just determining like between now and 60 days from now, which dates that would be Learn with Jason dates don't have shows already booked. So it's kind of showing open dates there. Then it goes in and gets my calendar and says, have I booked anything? Because I've got like conferences coming up. I'm going to take a vacation. So I don't want anybody to book a Learn with Jason on those days, because that would be, it would create a hassle. It'd be frustrating for them. And so we want to avoid that. Then using my free busy and the dates without shows, we can turn this into what are the actual dates that somebody can book a Learn with Jason show. So the actually available according to the Learn with Jason calendar and my availability. And right now we're just logging that out. But so then the next thing that we want to do is we want to get those dates back to somebody and wait for them to choose one. When they choose one, they're going to need to fill out some details, their name, their email, their maybe their phone number, because we send out reminders. They're going to be able to connect their Discord. They need to write a little bit about like what we're talking about just to help me when I'm writing the description. They need to upload a profile photo. There's just some, some basic onboarding stuff that needs to get done. And then I need to send off a calendar invite, and that's going to go to, the person who's going to be on the show. It goes to me. It goes to White Coat Captioning so that they know to have somebody ready. It goes to Aiden, who will put it on the Learn with Jason calendar and create the Discord event and stuff like that. Currently, the way that this works is when somebody submits, they do it through Calendly, which I then have to take the Calendly email notification and then I manually enter that into Notion. And then we've got a board in Notion that Aiden and I work on where I put in title and description, and then Aiden moves those into different stages of work where he's creating calendar events, creating Sanity entries, creating Discord events and all that stuff. That's all Aiden. And then I want it to send a notification to Discord. So like once the thing is booked, it should post a thing that says like, hey, a new episode just got scheduled. And I would love to be able to put in some reminders like, hey, a new episode is tomorrow. Don't forget so-and-so is going to be on the show tomorrow. Those little reminders are so useful. Could probably also set that up as an email. I'm going to try to improve the way that Code TV email works to let people filter to just what they want to get notified about, which will then allow me to send a few more emails without feeling like I'm just blasting people's inboxes, because they'll be able to opt out of either all of it if they don't want to get any more email, or they can opt out of just the specific stuff like, oh, I want to hear about Leet Heat, but I don't want to hear about Learn with Jason. Perfectly acceptable. We want to support that. So that'll be part of the setup before I start sending any emails. It would need to then wait until I write a title and description. So like this would be a notification to Discord that tags me and Aiden. So we would know like, hey, there's a thing that needs to be handled. I need to write the title and description. Once the title and description is written, then we want to generate social images. Those social images would then be used to create the Discord event, theoretically, potentially used to create like the LinkedIn event and the YouTube event and all. There's APIs for all that, right? So theoretically speaking, we can get all this stuff plugged in and it'll just happen. And then once that's done, it would be really cool to put this into Sanity as a release. Sanity releases are super cool. If you are not familiar, it's sort of like you're in your content management system and you say, okay, I'm going to make a bunch of changes on a bunch of pages, but I want them all to release as one thing. So you create a release, and then like you can create a new guest, you can create the show, you can upload a video, you can tweak the homepage, do all this stuff, and then none of it actually publishes until you publish the release, and then it all goes out at once. Previously, the way that this would work is every time we made changes in Sanity, we'd rebuild the site 3 or 4 times, because when you create a new guest, that builds the site. When you create the new episode, that builds the site. When you add that episode to the season, that rebuilds the site. So there's just a lot of little places where you would trigger a Sanity webhook. By putting it in release, you don't ever end up with like a couple seconds where somebody could see a mostly finished site. It would release all the pieces at once, so that everything goes up and all the changes are built at that one time. You get one rebuild on Netlify, one webhook being sent, and it just kind of makes life a little bit easier. But so the big thing that I need to solve, and this has been my blocker, is how do we handle human in the loop workflows with ingest? Because, and here's what I mean by that. With ingest, we have the workflows. And so if I come out here and I go to my ingest cloud and I look at my runs, what happens when something like this happens, let me see if I can find one that I know is me, so that I don't like see this one. This is one that I triggered. So the way that this works is each of these steps runs. And right now, each of these things is set up to, they kind of operate in a sequence. Like we got to get the user, and then we get their ID, and then we go and grab their Discord user, and then we check what roles they have, and then we add the user and update their roles, and that's it. Each of these things is sort of blocking the thing before it, but there's no point where it's waiting for an approval. So what I want is I want to add, on the when we go to get the dates, and like I can actually trigger one of these. Be the forms. It's going to be in here. Here. I should be able to invoke this. And when I do this, this will come out here. And it starts running stuff. And so this is all what I want. It's going to go get the Google token, and then that will come back in a second. And I hope this is pulling. I might have to keep refreshing the page to get this to work. Yeah. So we've got it's gotten the token, it's gotten the calendar dates. And so here's our calendar dates, right? And it shows us all of those. And then it says get the dates without a show. And so this brings back, like, again, I'm kind of looking at doing a break, so I haven't booked anything. And then it checks my free busy. And so it checks to see, like, have I booked anything? And you can see down here, if I am booked, it'll show a busy in there. Like here, this is a day that I've booked something. I think I'm out of town that day. Then it uses that to get our actual bookable show dates. And you'll see that the 18th of September didn't show up, despite being a theoretically bookable day, because I'm out of town for that. So this then gets to, so right now it's finishing, but what I need it to do is I need it to return this list of dates so that I can put that up on the screen. And I want this workflow to wait for the guest to then make a choice and send that back in, right? And so it's called human in the loop, is the term that I keep hearing people describe this as. So I need, and I could do this a couple ways. Like one of the ways would be to make this into multiple flows. So first thing is go get the bookable show dates, and then that is going to, when that comes up, when that finishes, it will put that up on the screen, and then when you choose, it would kick off another workflow. That's a perfectly acceptable thing. I want it though to be more. I want it to kind of be one thing, and part of my reasoning for that is that we can do some stuff like you can wait, and if they don't answer within 5 minutes, you can cancel the workflow, or I can send a I don't know, you can send a notification to Discord that's like, hey, somebody abandoned that form, whatever it is. And this hat is it's from the Syntax store, I believe, or Century's shop. Is it in here? Yeah, this one. They got all sorts of good stuff in there. So, all right. So, I don't know if everybody's clear on that and on what I'm after. But so my goal for today is we've got 2 hours, and I want to figure out how to have a page kick off this flow, display, like show a like please wait because it's going to take a little while. Once it's finished loading, show me the list of dates, and I'm not going to worry about the UI part. I'm going to just try to get them on screen, and then I want to be able to select one of those and have it restart the workflow. And I'm honestly okay if the only thing we get done today is that when we restart the workflow, we just send an event that finishes it. I just want to get that, like, that's my goal, because it's been the one piece that I haven't found a good example for in ingest. I've seen them talk about it. I've seen people talk about it on the with other tools like Temporal. I'm just it doesn't feel like the sort of thing that has been well demonstrated. And it's always talked about in a very abstract way, like, oh, just poll. I'm like, well, but what am I polling? What does that mean? Like, show me how that works. And so that, if anybody knows of an example, if anybody from ingest happens to be watching this and wants to shoot me a link, that would be great. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is climb into the ingest documentation, and we're going to see if we can figure this out. So we've got the functions, we've got, see what real time means. Because this could actually be exactly what we need. If we've got an ingest real time, it might be, because that said new, right? So I think the newness of this might mean that they have been working on this problem, and my timing is great because I just get to benefit from it. Okay, so the way that this works, we want to stream updates from a single function run, enable users to follow the progress of a long-running task by streaming updates from a dedicated channel. Here's how to trigger a function and subscribe to its updates. So this is our post, and we're sending ingest the hello world here. The stream is subscribing using ingest real time to a channel, which is uniquely defined here. So it's got some kind of unique identifier. It looks like that's arbitrary. And then the topics are the logs. So we'll have to figure out what that means. And then we return the stream as a stream. And is this the client side? No, this is on the ingest side. So in the ingest function, we have the real-time middleware, channel, and topic. So we create our client, we add the middleware in there. And then inside of hello channel, we have a channel that takes some kind of. So this is just generating the unique identifier. Yeah, so that generates the unique identifier. And then adds a topic. And the topic is apparently just a grouping, it looks like. And then does that mean that stuff is global channel? So it's just whatever you publish comes out. And then that would be returned here. Can I So we need something on the client side to subscribe to the stream to get that. There's plenty of libraries for that, especially now that everybody's focused on the AI streaming output. So that won't be a problem. Streaming multiple things, we would be able to set, so we can just set any topic we want. Looks like you can just, add multiple things there. So we'd be able to do something eventually, I guess. But for now, we'd probably just be able to say LWJ dot logged in user ID so that they would only see their own logs. So then in here, these are two different things. So this is the channels. Pulls in the channels. And then we've got, so basic function creator. So if there's a post ID, then we send off. If there's not a post ID, then we send some kind of a log. So this is operating exactly like console log, the way that they're setting this up. It's just a console log that would go back to anybody that's using the ingest client. Okay. Okay, so this is what I'm interested in, is the real time and the wait for event. So this is what I want to build. And so the way this is going to work is, let's see, we have real-time middleware again, our channel and our topic. We set up the real-time middleware. And then this is AI stuff, which not super surprising that this is what drove it, because I imagine everybody immediately came to ingest and was like, I want to use this with AI. And they were like, oh, I guess we should build this flow. So the messages, get a message and a confirmation UUID. You have your step run. So that's whatever thing you want to do. And then you've got a confirmation UUID, which is just a random ID. And then we want to publish to our workflow channel the message that says confirm to proceed. And then we give it that unique identifier so we can make sure we're coming back into the same flow. And this one says await the event being sent of agentic workflow confirmation. And you set this is the thing. So using this if, we can make sure that if 6 people were filling this out at the same time, they can only continue their own workflow. Because if we didn't have this, then if you opened it up on your computer and I opened it up on my computer, whichever one of us confirmed first would confirm everybody who's in the middle of the flow. So you have to have that some kind of identifier that lets you do that. And then so the way that the wait for works is it returns this confirmation. So until this happens, this is false. And as soon as this does happen, it will become true, which means we can do more stuff down here. Okay. So that's good. That's good. That's what I want. And I don't really want to do it with I just want to see. I want to see the client side part of this, because that's the piece that's missing here. Is it's not showing like, how are you reading these on the client side? So I guess real-time documentation. Let's see if there's anything about ingest real-time. And so you can just throw to like whatever, but the type channels is probably better because then you get type safety in the stuff you're sending out, which is good. You have some predictability in what's going on. You can subscribe from the client or the backend. Show me the client. This is okay. All right, we're getting somewhere. See, but this is all still server stuff, which is fine, I guess, but like to me that doesn't feel like here's a React hook, basic subscribe. Let's look at this. And so we're just looking at the token comes in, the stream then is going to be subscribe, and then we just loop over the stream. And that'll just keep running. You know what? Best way to figure this out is to just try it. So let's take this example, and I'm going to open this in a new window, and then I'm going to go back to that other example of the human in the loop. And let's just build some simple version of this to try it out. So in order to do that, I'm going to take you to the left, take you to the right. Oops. And let's see how this goes. So once we get these, we want to set up our ingest real time. So let's install ingest real time. Ingest real time. I'm going to filter this down to Code TV workflows. Yes. No. We actually want this in Code TV ingest. Okay. I like so many things about Warp, but that inability to give up on an autocomplete when I'm clearly not interested in the autocomplete makes me so angry. Okay, so now inside of our steps here, we should be able to use this ingest stuff. So up at the top, this is going to require some refactoring at the end, but we're going to live with it. I'm going to import the, oh shoot, I got to do the real-time middleware in the client. Oh, I should probably set this all up in the client, shouldn't I? Yeah, we're going to set this up in the client. That's better. So here we go. We've got ingest stuff. We are going to pull in the real-time middleware. That's not what I want. Chill out. Real-time middleware, channel, and topic from ingest real-time. And then in our client, we're going to add middleware. Okay. And then we need to do our channels here. So we're going to export const. I think I'm just going to start real basic. And so we're just going to say test channel. And we're going to set up a channel. That channel is going to have a test. We're going to add a topic, and that topic is going to be messages. It's going to have a schema. schema to start. Do I have you? Object. Man, I love the way that autocomplete is helping right now. It's really good. And so we'll just say message, and we're just going to follow this. I think we're going to follow this to the letter here. We're going to do it exactly how they did it so that I don't have to worry if I'm like modifying something before I've proved that it works the way I expect. So this is our, we've got our test channel. We're adding a topic. Our topic is messages. We've got a schema, so we're going to send in a message and a UUID. Did I spell that right? Yeah. Okay. And so now we're going to import this in our steps. So this one is going to get our test channel, right? And then down here, we're going to blow past all this stuff to get down to here where we can say, await publish. Where did publish come from? Oh, publish is in the event. Because now we've got that because of the real-time middleware. Okay, that makes sense. So we're going to publish. And we are publishing to our channel. And we should have our message. And that message is going to be, did this work? And then we'll have our confirmation UUID. And that's going to be not even a UUID. We're gonna make it real easy here and not even bother implementing that part, because I think what I'm going to use instead is going to be like the person's individual like name and stuff, so that, yeah. Okay. So then we're going to set up a confirmation, and that is going to be awaiting the step.run, and this is going to be test confirmation. That's an async function. Is it? No, it doesn't need to be. It's going to live in here. So the event that we're waiting for is Code TV test confirmation. That's what we're going to send back. And the timeout, yeah, we'll set a 15-minute timeout is fine. And then the if is going to be async data confirmation. And that's going to equal I need this to be out here. Because then you coming down here to live in here, and then that needs to be backtick instead. Good. Okay. And that should be everything. Yes, and then you're mad because we don't have the test confirmation yet, but that's okay. So we're going to go into the, let me maximize this for a second while we clean this up. We're going to get you. And I wonder, does this get the, I wonder if this gets the data. You know what? Let's test that. That'll be cool. So we're going to get the types out of, where are we in? We're in the website. So this is going to need to be here. And that's going to have some data, which is going to be a z.object which is going to have the confirmation ID, which we can pull out of our clipboard history. And that's going to be a string. And then I want to just put in something else just to see if we get the full data back. And so that event tense. Why are you mad? This works. Event does not. What? Wait for event. Ah, that's what I screwed up. Waiting for an event. Okay. So we then have. I don't do a lot of Next.js. Ankita Kulkarni does a ton of Next.js stuff and has a good course on that. Let me see. Where's the next stuff? Yeah, modern next. Anyways, I'm gonna just throw Ankita's stuff in here because if you want to do some next stuff, I would go that direction. But yeah, I don't write a lot of Next. I'm personally not a huge fan of it. But there are some great teachers out there who have done good content. So then down here, what I should get is if confirmation, we should be able to log the output. We are just going to return confirmation. And so what that should mean, theoretically, what that means is that this is going to sit and wait. And we now need to set up our client, which is going to subscribe to these changes. And to do that, we got to open up this one. And I wanted to subscribe from here. So we're going to have to do this in, let's do Express. Yeah, this will be okay. And so you are going to get the token and then we subscribe. So I know. Shoot. Wish there were better courses or at least examples for building Shopify apps. I feel like Shopify is so good until you get off the beaten path, and then it's like it's pretty challenging. Yeah, I don't know of anybody who's doing like deep Shopify stuff. But I have a hunch it's about to get better. I can't say why just yet because it's not my announcement to make, but interesting things coming that way. Let's set up this thing. Kind of a bummer that I'm gonna have to install this in two places, but we're gonna live with it. So I also need this to live on workflows because that's what we're using. Comes out of real time, yeah. So now in here, we're gonna go up to workflows, and we need to set up our endpoint for this. Okay. So that I think is going to be not quite a copy paste job, but pretty close to it. I'm gonna grab this, come back here, and then we just need to change you. Get auth. Oh, I see. I think I'm gonna skip this part for now because I want to prove that it works, and then we're gonna add in. Then we're gonna add in the auth part. But for right now, we're gonna just get the proof of concept going, and then the way that this is gonna work for Astro is gonna be like this. I think. Is Astro doing it with the... Come on, Astro, don't let me down. Yeah, we're just gonna go look it up. So we want a dynamic one, and that's gonna... Okay, so we need to pull this API route. That's gonna fix us. Now we're gonna have the request. And we're gonna leave this part out for now. Why are you mad? Expected 2 arguments but got 1. That's not ideal when you've got a... What was our channel called? Channel is called test. And our topics were also test. Messages. Okay. And so then you... There's a shortcut for this, I think. Return new response. There's not a shortcut. It's just the way that you would do it. Good. So there's our token. This goes away. And you are mad because an argument for args that seems bad. Get subscription token. Ingest app. Oh, am I missing? No? Do I need to pass the app in? Is that what's missing? Let's see. Get subscription token. Oh, that's a rough app. And then option. So I need to get in my client. Okay. So that's a bug in there. Do they have a way to submit fixes? This is the one here. Whatever. We're just going to copy this exactly as they did it. Copied from the next example. Not sure if to keep the get ingest. Do something else. Unverified. I'm verified. How dare you? Merging is blocked. Proving review, fine. Cool, whatever. Just want to make sure they're aware that that's broken. Okay, so then this theoretically works. Let's see. What's missing? We got you. There we go. Okay. So we're not even using that request, so we can actually get rid of it. So then this should give us our token, and our token should allow us then to make the client side request, right? Yes. But that means, oh, wait, does this need to be on the website? I don't want this to be on the website. I want this to be here. So we'll proxy this in, which is fine. We're going to do that. That is fine. So that means let's get in here and let's make a new file. We'll call this one WJ, and then I want to grab, let's grab this one because that one's pretty close to what I want, and we should be able to blow all this stuff out and do something different, but that'll get us close, and then I can get you. All right, so this, we're going to leave all of this out, deal with it later. We can probably make this work as like a, probably make that work as like an initial thing instead of making them click a button. Let's get you out of there. Let's get you out of there. Okay, so that's what somebody will see when they first come in, which means we don't need this Discord account. We will eventually need this user. I need more, but whatever. We'll pull stuff out and we'll bring it back in when it's time. And this is going to, I'm not even, you know what? We're not even going to deal with this. This is, or wait, this is an easy one. This is an easy one to deal with. So we're going to leave that as is. So basically that means that if you are not logged in, it's going to make you log in first, which is what I want. You need to have a, basically because the Code TV account is like how we show guest info. Right now I'm manually creating accounts, but then if somebody signs up later, it kind of like breaks the whole thing. So I'm just going to make it part of the sign up flow to simplify. Good. So that means this page then should be running. So if I start all this, npm run dev, there we go. Then all of these should be doing what I want them to do. And come over here. I want you. Yeah. Okay, so we'll watch those two. And then I should be able to go to localhost forms, learn with Jason. That should bring up our find available dates. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to have this kick off the workflow. But before we do that, we want to be listening to the streaming. So we're going to come back in here and let's just make a little pre-tag. And we'll call this ID streaming output. Okay, so we're gonna step through this, and we'll just add anything that comes in as streaming output. And to make that work, we're gonna need a script. We've got our script tag down here, and we're gonna start doing this part. How did I lose my? Where's my client side stuff? Must have accidentally closed that one. Okay, so client, there's our subscription token. Here's how we actually do the basic subscribe. So we're going to copy this and drop it straight in, and then let's look at it. So, crap, we are going to need type of hello channel. No, I don't want that. Like I don't want to do that. Right now I just want to figure this stuff out as like the most basic version. I think I set it up as 8765. Yep. And I think I called it get token instead of, yeah. So that's going to post to get our token. I'm going to have to pull this in. I really didn't want to have to do that. It's fine. Okay. So let's add this to the website, and hopefully this doesn't introduce. I guess we'll find out if this requires the ingest keys. Yeah, part of the I'm feeling the pain of trying to run something that is, it's just like this is a big website and it does a lot, and so trying to figure out how to make parts of it run with no credentials is proving to be a big pain. Why are you? You exist. Okay, so then these are here. This type only channel expected one argument, and that argument is what? Yikes. TypeScript is hard. Type only channel. Okay. The ID. And the ID is get type only channel. Do you have the type only channel? No. So they don't have. Man. Is that just the test then? Argument for ID. ID is a string. Let's just put it in. And then the topics were messages. Where did the token even come in? This just feels this feels like not complete. Subscribe approach uses the type only channel. I guess let's just wait for the error message, but why did I have to do this if this doesn't use it? Yeah. And that was called streaming output. Okay. And so then what we're going to do is we are going to streaming. This is going to be log text content plus equals. And we'll just do line break and whatever the message is. And why don't we just for safety JSON stringify that message because it won't hurt it if it's a string, but it will hurt it if we get an object here. What are you? Just skip the log if we are missing our output, but we know it's there, so we could also like force it or whatever. Okay, so theoretically speaking, then that should do what we want it to do. And if we go into the actions, we should be able to create a new action. And I'm going to use this add to Discord one because that one's already got some ingest stuff in it, and the event that we wanted to send was test confirmation, and that's going to have a confirmation UUID and a message. And the message is going to be, I mean, hell, let's just send the, oh, we don't have the user. We do have a user. Yeah. So let's send the user's first name, username. Okay. So these, I mean, theoretically, right? This all does what we want. Oh, wait. We don't want to do that yet. We want to actually trigger, we want to trigger the start of the workflow, not the end of the workflow. So let's go back in and we're going to trigger this one. And that doesn't have any arguments. Which means these go away. Okay, so now what I want to do is we want to send this action, and to send that action, we can go look at this Discord one because I had code in there for that. And so that's you. And we're going to come in here. And we'll just create a new script to kind of, eventually this is all going to get cleaned up and we'll just be easier if these are not touching. So we'll just call this button and button. And then we're not going to do the redirect. And I need to grab this import and we're going to change this one to be forms learn with Jason, which should kick off the thing. And if we have done this correctly, what we should see, we need to enter a button. So that's going to be an ID of get dates, which means you are going to be an ID of get dates. Yeah? I don't know, man. Let's try it. Okay. So let's see what happens. We're going to go out to our page here. Now, what happens? We're running this. We want our ingest cloud. Oh, our dev server's down. That's not good. Oh, whoops. Boy, what am I doing right now? Okay. So now that should be running. There it goes. And then if I stack these up, we should be able to see, theoretically, nothing up my sleeve here. But let's try it. So I'm going to click this button. Okay, it does some stuff. It's doing everything I want. And it should be waiting. The requested module. PNPM. What does that mean? Damn it. Okay, so this then is waiting. All right. So I mean, it's doing what we want though, which is good. It's just not doing it. It's just so that's just waiting. And it's waiting for this thing. So I guess this is failing, and it's failing because why? Where is our... It doesn't even look like it's trying to get to ingest, which isn't great. Because like one of these should be running toward ingest. And it's not. Payload messages. Now that's the dev toolbar. So what does that even mean? So it's just failing straight up. Like it can't even get... It can't even get this thing imported. which isn't great. Um, yeah, it would seem that the ingest is not digesting. Okay. That is not the announcement I was talking about. Um, how are the coding AI assistants impacting my job? I mean, they're not. They like I kind of use them. I kind of don't. Um, it really depends, right? Like it depends on what the thing is that I'm doing. If I'm writing some React code and I know what it should look like, but I know it'll take me a while to write it, it's easy to say, "Hey, build a component that does XYZ." And it'll do it and it's like 90% right and I can fix the two things that are broken and then I'm like moved on to the next thing. But with something like this, like I could say, build me a real-time ingest thing and it's going to spit out a bunch of code and by the time I've gotten around to like fully reviewing what it does and reverse engineering it's not helping me understand unless I'm doing as much work to reverse engineer the code as I would to write it myself. Um, and then I wouldn't be able to debug it. Like I just sort of be like throwing a black box into my app and in something like this, that's just such a critical risk, I think, to have code that I can't defend. Um, so I treat it the same way that I treat TypeScript. It is useful. It doesn't do my job for me, um, but it eliminates some certain annoying categories of chores. Let's see. How do you start making complex projects? I mean, the thing about a complex project is that a complex project is a stack of simple projects. And the biggest risk that so many people have is that they'll try to get it right before they ship it, and that will cause them to never ship it because there's always something that could be improved or fixed or otherwise, that could make your life easier or better. Um, and so the challenge then becomes how does one decide what's good enough? And I think the things that you have to be really careful about are like if you have users, make very sure you're not exposing user data. Um, outside of that though, like if it breaks, it breaks. That's feedback. You're gonna learn. If it's not as good as it could be, that's fine. You're gonna learn. And like, we wouldn't have jobs at these giant companies if there weren't a million things that they wanted to do better, right? It's the vast majority of working at a FANG company or at an IBM or at a Shopify or a Hilton Hotel Group is that their apps need work. Like if they were perfect, they would have a small team of R&D engineers and that would be it. But because the apps are evolving and they're breaking and you learn more and you get feedback and you have to adjust a thing or you get a new partner or whatever, you will always have small things that you need to fix. And so remembering that there's no such thing as done. There's only good enough for now. And typically before you have users, as long as you can be confident that if somebody comes in there and puts in their password, it's not going to be available to somebody else in plain text. And like if they come in and load up, if you're doing something with financial data or something, like just don't like use a service that'll handle that for you. Unless you are very confident that you understand how those things work and that you can write something more secure, which most of us can't, right? Like if I know that people have strong feelings about services like Clerk and Stripe and so on and so forth, but like unless that's your job, they're going to do a better job than you are. And if you are trying to ship something, just ship it. You can always rip out the auth later. Like Clerk has a full export of everybody who's in your system, and you can like move over to a new auth system. That is perfectly acceptable. It's a one-time relogin. People are fine with that. They know how to do that. So I think we worry too much as a community about optimizing. And if you're optimizing an app that has 0 users, you're actively procrastinating. Just get it out there, get somebody using it, get feedback. just make sure you got the very basics covered, which are, can somebody who is not me go in and get my information? And if the answer to that is no, then ship it, you're ready. It'll get more complex with time, but it'll definitely get more complex more sustainably if you're getting feedback instead of building out big complex features that then you get feedback on and have to like figure out how to back out and reinvent. Um, that'll cost you time. Um, defending your code. That's actually pretty interesting. Making a complex project is working on a simple project long enough. Yes, I would agree with that. Okay, let's figure out why this is happening. I believe what is happening is that is broken. So let's see if we still get that same error if we take these bits out. We'll just kind of go process of elimination here. So I think we can make this token call. Cores, man. All right. So because I had to bring in the ingest stuff anyways, I'm just going to bring this over rather than fighting with it. Because I can go set all this stuff up. I just don't want to. So I'm going to drop you in here instead. We're going to close this up, and then we'll just change this to be you. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so that's working. We now have a token. And if we go look at our requests, we can see our get token. And what does that even look like? So it's sending back like our keys and stuff. It shows the channel and the topics and messages. Okay, that's all good. Now, the thing that's confusing about this is it feels like I should be able to drop that in on this subscribe thing, and it should just do it for me. It's a record. There's a callback token. What if I just drop the token in? Let's try that, and let's see if that doesn't explode. Stream equals await subscribe token. Okay. That seems like what I would have expected to be true, because that's like, okay, we got our token. We're figuring out what we can do. This then is saying you can subscribe to that, and then you should do the thing. Maybe it was just that. It'd be really cool if it was just that type only channel thing. What is this going to be? This is going to be something frustrating. Because this is like an internal import failing. And that's, so it's like missing a default import, which means that this is like they're exporting with one tool that's then causing my tool to, it's all being, it's frustrating. Okay, so this probably isn't going to work, but I need to file a bug. Maybe I can work around this by doing their like server side thing and just doing like an Astro streaming responses. I would like to send endpoints. So this isn't going to work though because Astro runs kind of serverlessly. It's a bunch of HTMX stuff that doesn't matter. I'm just going to have to pull like this because this is going to, if it's not going to, if the client side stuff doesn't work, then there's not really much I can do here. Let's look at it again just in case. Publishing, subscribing. Subscribe from the client. Subscribe to the channel. And this just doesn't work. Because it's not able to be imported. So there's a couple workarounds that I know would work, but I don't necessarily want to, because one really easy way to do this would be to just hold some temporary state in convex because they've got real time worked out. But then I'm introducing like a whole other tool just for the real time stuff. And I don't really want to do that. That feels very, very heavy handed. I could introduce party kit that also feels very heavy handed. I think polling is the way to do it because I think we're not doing anything that's particularly wild here. So what I need is to just be able to get, I really just want to be able to get stuff. Like I want to hit the ingest API or something and get the output. We're using the SDK. Get a function run. The jobs. I hate this. Need the internal ID of the event, which is a single event, and then you end up with your internal ID events. God, I don't even know how I'm going to do this. I feel like there's a way to do this that's like very straightforward, and I just don't. I'm having a hard time finding examples for it. And I feel like somebody who knows this system better would be watching this like, what are you doing? There's so many things you could do that would make this easier. But that person is not here. And so here I am. Because like what I need function run jobs, and then what we get back from the jobs. feel like this isn't going to help either because I need, we need the return data. Output. Okay, that's fine. But that's from like a function run, which I guess would be fine. In order to do that, we need the run ID. Run ID output would be there, but I don't know. Can I get it? So I feel like if that's the case, then I can't do the wait until because I would need to get a result. Right? See, this is where I get really confused because I know I've seen people do this and I know that it's possible. And so ingest human in the loop example. Like running example. Show me a running example. Where is your client? So this is do you have like an actual, is there source code? Yeah, there's no client for this. And so this is, how does this do things? I think this all happens in the, does this all happen in the CLI? Like we're missing the actual like, show me how this works in any situation that is not Next.js because it looks like because the Next.js stuff, my hunch, let's look. Here's our page. So here's our home page. And that's pulling in the data. And then the data is so they've kind of abstracted all this away. Okay, so how does one do this if you are not in React? Because it's clearly possible. So I guess into the source code we go. Ingest, real time. Probably go look at the actual library for this. No, I want to see the repo. I don't want to see your docs because your docs aren't done. Packages, real time, hooks. Okay. So for this, they are how do they actually connect? They don't connect? How the heck are they getting data? Subscribe. Get the base URL, token subscription. So we got to figure out what that means. Get token subscription. But the problem is that I still can't use this, because what ends up happening is they're somewhere down the chain, they're using that dependency that doesn't work in Astro for whatever reason. And so we need to figure out, so they're hitting a real-time connect. Fine. Okay, so they hit the real-time connect endpoint. Then they're setting up a WebSocket connection. And then they're just doing on message. So if I use the WS package, I should be able to subscribe. What are they doing with like keys and stuff? Am I missing a bunch of get WebSocket URL? So there's no magic on this, right? So then it gets used down here. Are they set in headers? No. So I think this will just work. So they're doing a bunch to like help, but I just need to be able to get at the messages. This stuff sucks. I don't want to do this. It would be great if, like, here's what I want. I want to be able to, what am I trying to do here? I am let's walk through that. I am currently trying to figure out how in ingest, where we've got this repo here, or this app here that is doing a run that does all this stuff. It's loading all these things, and then once it's done, it's supposed to publish the list of dates that are available and then wait for human input. And so what I'm trying to figure out is this list of dates. How do I get this back from ingest and into my app? Right? Because I need it to display here. So when I click this button, it kicks off this run. And we can see that happening here. Oops. So here's the run, and then it's waiting for me to do something. And so if I were to go in here and I could send the Code TV, it was test event, and then I can send the confirmation UUID of ABC123 and the message of test. Did I get that wrong? Test confirmation. And these all need to be JSON. So what should happen is when I send this event, it should immediately, it immediately gets that to happen. And then it sends back through my stuff. So that's how it was designed to do it. It waits for the extra stuff to happen. So I send through my event, right? The problem is I can't get this side over here to pull what's coming in. And as far as I can tell from poking around in the ingest stuff, I don't see an easy way to just get the output. Like it doesn't have anything that seems to like, let's look in flow control. Yeah, see, none of these are like returning a thing. Loops over steps. Fetch, that's not what I need. Waiting for events, and like waiting for events is what I'm after. But I don't see a way to say like, and this is like waiting for onboarding, but see, this assumes that you don't need any of the data from here to like move on and do the next thing. And so the part that I'm struggling with is that it doesn't seem like there's a way in ingest to like use the information. It sort of seems like the way that ingest is designed is you put a coin in the machine and then it sort of does work and the user doesn't care when that work is complete. It just wants to know that the work is done. That's the sort of thing. But now that we're in a situation where we want to do some work and I want that work to be in these durable workflows and retriable and all the things, because we're hitting a bunch of rickety APIs. We're hitting like the Google APIs. Those are a nightmare. We're hitting Clerk, we're hitting Discord, we're hitting all these things. And so who knows when they're going to have a network blip or when whatever, but like I want the visibility into the process. But I need a way to get this data back. And I don't currently have one. And so I don't know, let's just try Googling for it. How to get the result of an ingest function in the browser. Okay, so this processes CSV, returns the number of items processed. This, so the thing gives you back an ID when you run it. Okay, that's useful information. So then you would fetch the triggered status and output. Okay, I think I'm starting to understand the way that we would set this up. So when we make this call here, this is going to need to that's going to get our IDs, which will be strings. And then that's going to return IDs. Okay. So then out here, we get IDs. And that is going to be the results that we got from the thing. Now, if we don't get any IDs, we'll just do some kind of error thingy. But then down here, we need to make a call to the ingest API. And we need the ingest signing key, which gets us back. Well, I guess it's fine because if you're doing local dev, you won't be in this flow unless you know that you're supposed to be in here. So then I can grab one of these. We're going to just drop this up at the top so we've got it. Okay. You are going to be a string. And so there's all of our bits. That process, that's probably not going to be available, but we're going to see what happens. Because that can't be there, actually. That's going to have to be, this is all going to have to be in a serverless function. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to back this out to a serverless function. Okay. What was it? It was a run. All right. So we're going to export const get That's going to be an async function. Actually, it's going to be an API route first. And that's going to be an async function, which is going to have this this little bit going on in it. Sure, why not? So that'll be how we do that. And so then instead of, what are you mad about? This, because we need to pass in an event ID. And to do that, we're going to probably, what's the easiest way to do this? The easiest way to do this would be like that. Damn it. Come on, chill. Chill out here, everyone. You go here. You go away. All right, so then this is going to be here instead, and then this is going to get the params, and this is going to be params.event ID. Okay. All right, so then what we need to do is we are going to call this function. And to do that, we're going to need to do it on a loop. So we can, we'll set a has result to false. And then we're going to say while has result is false, we need to const result is going to be await fetch, and that's going to be API ingest run, and then we need that ID. And so that's going to be IDs at 0, I guess. What does that mean? Property at. Because expression of type. Can I do a length? Would that work? Property length is not. What is it? What the hell is the safe result? Maybe kiss my ass? Oh, buddy. Just shut up. How about that? How about you just shut up? I'm just trying to learn. I don't want to solve your puzzles. Okay. So you now are doing the thing. That should be what we need. Let's console log this just to be sure. And then we're going to get that result. And then if it's okay, then we want to console error status text. And continue, I guess. And then down here, we would want to say const data equals await as JSON and console log the data, I guess. And what's the data that I should be getting back? We're going to change this step. So instead of doing any of this, which I would like to, that would be a neat thing to have, but we don't have it. We are instead going to return these bookable show dates. And so what we should get back is this array of strings. So in here, we're going to say if data length, then we're going to set has result to true. And we'll see how that works. This is going to spam the hell out of it. So what we need to do instead is we're going to set timeout. And do this work. And we'll run that every 2 seconds. And so instead, we're going to clear timeout. Does that not work? You can clear a timeout from within itself, I think. We're gonna roll with that, and we can always just bail if it gets too silly. So then that goes away. All right, so we've got the check here. That should return our data. We've got the check here. Let's log what we get back just to... That's my name. Okay, let's log that to see what we get back. Let's log what's happening here to see what we get back. And what that should mean then is that once we click this button, it's going to set a loading state, and then every 2 seconds, it's going to start hitting the ingest with the ID to figure out what data has come back. So after about 20 seconds, which is about how long it takes to hit all of these different APIs in sequence, we should theoretically get data back, at which point it should stop running the loop. So let's find out how good at coding I am. I have my doubts. Okay, we're watching in the console. Console is broken because we need to get rid of this timeout stuff. So all of this stuff is no longer a thing. Okay, now that should be working, and party time. Error updating the role. That's immediately a bad thing. We did get back our IDs. There's our ID. We should be seeing polls, but it might have crashed because we didn't get the Error updating the role. If IDs or IDs length. Okay, so we're getting a failure here. Why are we getting an we get back IDs. Oh, it's IDs data. I would really like to understand why this thing isn't doing, like, do I just need to cast it as an array? How about this? We're going to do this, and then we're going to say const IDs equals array from response. How about that? Fuck you. Get away with this. So safe you can't use it. How did they, am I missing something? How did they do this? Get runs. It gets the runs. They await getting the runs, which I am doing. Yes. Which it knows is a string, right? Okay. So this is, I think this is coming out of Astro. Like, do I have to? Action context, action path. How does one interact with the damn safe result, though? Serialize action result. So I just need to, but that doesn't seem right either. It seems like you should just be able to use the action result. See the actions guide. How do they use handling returned data? Await actions example. How dare you? Now you work? Oh, you suck so bad. Okay. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, it doesn't immediately fail. The endpoint did not return a response. Okay, that's much closer because now we're just into, I'm getting, oh, right, I know what I'm doing wrong. New response. And that's going to be JSON stringify the data. Okay, one more time. Here we go. Gets back nothing. Goes again. Does that mean that it did? Oh, I should probably check whether or not I'm. Console log the data. If data length. Okay, so that's actually not going to be the thing we want. Oh, hold on. Whoops. Whoa. Whatever that was, you'd stop. Now it's making the call. It should make it again. There it goes. Okay, each time it's coming back empty. It's coming back empty because these aren't done yet. Is this the one that just got triggered? 31, yeah. So you should be done. And the final, so here's the run. And it returned back output of. Yeah. So that should be there. That should have been present, and it's not. Which means maybe something broke out here. Let's. I don't want to. What? Oh, yeah, let's just try that again. I don't know what state I got into, but I don't know how to get out of it. Okay. So I want to look at the website and I want to look at the workflows. Oh, I don't even need the workflows actually, because it's all going to log out here because we moved it into these endpoints, which means when I come out here, here's our user, there's our data getting fetched, all fine, good. Let's load here. You know what's frustrating is it doesn't have like a done or not done. Seems like it should be part of what we want. Because that would be really useful information to have. No additional runs found. So this has done everything, and this ran in like a few seconds, it looks like. 4.5 seconds. But so why doesn't it? Because this is the event ID that we're hitting. ZTX, yeah. So shouldn't that give me more information about what it is? And it's not giving me the output, which this is the output, so that should be there. So what is going wrong? Why can't this get, like, why isn't that there? And the reason is, who the heck knows? That's the console logging of the JSON, just the JSON. I'm very lost. Yeah, that's a good call. That's man, this kind of stuff is frustrating. Like it's we're so close to done and it's just not quite there, you know? Like it's actually a good idea. We can just simplify that. But I don't understand why this isn't doing what it says it does. It says it returns. Where is it? It says it returns the output. So I would expect that this output is what would get returned. Let me double check. It sends. But this doesn't have the definition of the thing. So we hit the runs endpoint, and what we would expect to come back, runs 0. We would expect it to have a run ID. See, we're missing something here because this isn't right. This is not what we're getting back. So what am I missing? We're missing get runs. And that should be giving us back this data, that data that we're getting back should be here. Here's our response. We're getting it as just straight up JSON, which means something is wrong. Like we're missing something. Wait, get runs. Use the event ID to fetch the status. This is what we copied this straight up. So this is the ingest v1. We're sending in our authorization key, which we have. We are, it's all here. Like everything in here should be right. Oh no. Okay. Well, that's my camera battery. Shoot. Let me see. I guess I can switch to go to this one, I guess. So that's my my camera battery is dead. I'll have to charge it up over there. This is, man, I really don't want to end on a downer here, but I'm a little worried I'm about to. Too much, Jason. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, it's been down for a while, huh? My bad, y'all. Yeah. So this data should, yeah, like what we're polling right now should be the data that we want, but for some reason that's not working. So let's pull up Postman and just see if we can make this do what we want. So the API endpoint that I want to hit is this one. And the event ID sure, whatever. So now we've got this event ID here, which I should be able to pull out of our logs. And let's just see if we can get this particular one to load here. Because I really just want to see Okay, there's our event ID. And then for our authorization, we need a bearer. Was it bearer? Yeah, it's bearer. And then I need my signing key. So let me hide my screen here for a second. Get this bearer key or the signing key out. Ingest signing key. Come back over here. Okay, so let's hide that. Bring this back up. And let's try it, I guess. Okay, so this is just getting the wrong data. Like, or it's not matching the data that it said it would get given the. Come on, man. What is it? What's going on? So let's, I guess, look at the API again. Because yeah, it's just, this is just not what's there. So you can pull until the status is, see, this is what I want, but it's not actually being returned. So like, am I missing? This event only triggers a single function. Use a simple fetch and event runs endpoint. Like, do we need a special token? Do I need to update my permissions? Like, why am I not getting the result that it says I should get? Auth is the token. Yep, I get that. The path parameters are the internal ID. Yep, I get that. And the responses should be all of this, and it's not there. Do I need to set the ingest env to branch environment name when using a branch signing key? Why don't we? I mean, let's see. What was it? It was X ingest env, I think. Oops, don't look at those. X ingest env. And we'll set that to dev, I guess, and see what happens. And you are absolutely killing me right now. Okay, let's see. Is it like localhost? Do I have to hit my local server since I'm in dev mode? Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Okay. So what was going wrong? It's stupid that it didn't tell me that didn't exist, by the way. But what was going wrong is I was hitting my production instance, but that function was running on development. And so I needed to hit my development instance in order to get that to work. And so that ingest env had nothing to do with it. It was this. Fine. That is fine. God damn it. Okay. So that's an easy fix. We can fix that. So this then we'll deal with it later for real. But for now, let's just try to get this thing running because I am almost out of time and I want to get this working. So I'm far more interested in getting it running, and then we can clear that out. And so what then should mean is out here we run this. It should start showing us data. There's our data. The run is running, and then the next call. Oh, because now then it had some length. So what we actually need is it's going to be data at 0. How about that? So that one's going to be running. This one's still going, still running, still running. And completed is what it needs to be. My bad. Okay. So closer and closer. This one says completed, I think. Next one says completed. Why don't you think you're done? You are definitely done. There we go. So now we're completed and it stops running. So that's good. So then the next thing we would want to do is we want to get the output, which is our array here. Okay, perfect. So if the status is completed, then we want to update UI, sure. And we're going to pass in data.output. And update UI is going to live up here. And that gets our dates, which is going to be an array of strings. Oh boy, we're very close to having this doing what I want. So then what we need to do up here is, why don't we for now just make that empty. And then we're going to drop that out entirely because I don't care anymore. And we're going to call this available dates. Available dates, that's going to say that it's doing its thing. So then this, probably do this a handful of different ways. I'll probably refactor this, but for now, what this will let me do is in the update UI, I'm going to get my list of dates, and I will be able to say const list is going to be document dot get element by ID, and that's going to be available dates. And then what we're going to do is for dates, dates dot for each date, we are going to create a new element, which is going to be a list item. That's going to be a document dot create element. And then we want to set the list item text, come on. Text content is going to be the date. And that's going to be good enough. So then we're going to list dot append child, and that's going to be the list item. That should, why are you mad? Okay. So it's loading. Let's take a few seconds. Need to figure out why that takes so much longer than the UI does to register that it's completed, but it's fine. Uncaught, cannot read properties of undefined, reading for each. Okay, so we screwed up somewhere in here. Dates. And the reason that failed is, oh, there we go. One more time. This one's going to work. All right. Screeching into the finish here. Do the thing. I wonder if it's caching that output maybe. So I need to slow down my poll to like 4 seconds or something. We did it. Okay, so that's better. And so, but this is good because what this means is it allows me to solve the core problem, which is that I needed to do some things, have ingest finish or have ingest hand some data over, and then send that data back. I would have loved to get the real-time stuff going. I'm going to see if I can maybe get somebody from the ingest team to talk to me about that because I feel like that should work. And I feel like there's probably just like they shipped something and the docs are out of date, and that's fine. That's a thing that it happens, right? But I feel like this could be improved. And so I'm going to see if maybe they want to talk about that and perhaps we can improve it. But this is the thing I wanted to do today, right? Like I wanted to kick off a workflow. I wanted that workflow to go and do the things that I needed it to do and then come back with the information that I needed. I do feel like this is incomplete data though, which is kind of interesting. It's getting back 5 things. I had more open dates. Maybe I'm whatever. I'll figure it out. But okay. So this is I'm happy with this. This is I feel like it was a hard-won victory, but we are going to call this a victory. But so yeah, now looking at to just kind of recap before we shut down for the day. The way that this works is we start by doing here. We start by we've got this button that is going to fire off the like start thing, and that triggers this Astro action, and this Astro action is kicking off an ingest workflow, right? And the reason we don't do this on the front side is on the client side is honestly, you know what? I might be able to do it on the client side, but whatever. It is what it is. So then this kicks off this Astro action, this ingest job, gives us back the ID of any runs that were triggered. And on the side of ingest, we start out, so this is what gets triggered is this LWJ book. So that kicks off by loading up the Google token. It then gets the calendar events from the Learn with Jason calendar. It does some logic to figure out which of those dates don't have shows already booked on them. It dives into the free busy of my schedule to decide whether or not I have already booked something else on those dates. And then it finally determines what are the actually bookable show dates, which are then returned from this function, right? So then out here, what we're doing is after we run our action, we grab the IDs, and then we're setting up an interval that's hitting the ingest API every 2 seconds, but let's slow that down to 4. So every 4 seconds, it's going to fire off a call to ingest and say, hey, what's the status of this thing? And if it's completed, then it passes off the output, which is those dates, to our update UI function, which puts those dates on the screen in the form of list items, which then show up here, right? So that's the workflow. And we can see how that works. You'll see it kind of start logging down here as this fires. So you can see the ingest thing is running over here. And it's polling. And it's polling. And it says that it's still running. And then at some point, it's going to say that it's done. I don't know why this takes so long to notify that it's done, because it's done over here. But then it finally, when it gets to the status of completed, we've got the output here. This is the output that gets passed into our update UI, which then puts the available dates up on the UI. So feeling pretty happy about that. That's doing what we want. We're in good shape. I'm very pleased with just, it did what I want. So then the next thing I can do is I can start taking these and turning them into like buttons that are, like choose one of the available dates, and you would click it. And when you click that, it will kick off a new workflow or it'll you'll choose one of these from a drop down, and then fill out some details about yourself. Like, we need a bio, we need your headshot, um, any other things that we need, and then that will kick off a workflow that'll allow me to do things like potentially auto create the Figma templates for the Discord, like the Discord event banner and the YouTube thumbnail, and so just cool stuff like that that I think we can do all from these workflows. So if we collect the data, that we can go out and do a bunch of stuff with it. And that's the reason that I'm excited about ingest, is that we can just add more steps to this, and like each one of these steps runs independently, so that if something does go wrong, like I can see here's the calendar events list. Um, I can see what happened here, and it shows me what comes back from that API. So I can go through and inspect it, or I can copy this output so that I can go do some debugging in my next step down the thing. And then you can see the entire, if we go to the Learn with Jason book, we can see the entire sequence here of what's going on. So it starts out by getting the token, then it gets the calendar, and you can see each of these pieces here is taking, about a second, half a second, somewhere in there. And so I need, I can probably optimize this a little bit. We're on the dev server too, so it's probably not going as fast as it could. There's a lot of things that I want to do to clean this up as we move forward. But I'm pretty dang happy with that. And this solves like what was in my mind one of the last remaining hurdles for how to really work with these flows, which is getting data back out and then letting people interact with it. So good. Pretty happy about that. Still really like working with the system. Feel like a lot of cool stuff is coming on the Code TV site. We've got some good automations and things happening that, you can assign roles now. Like if you're a Code TV supporter, which I hope you all consider becoming one, you can now like claim a Discord perk where you register or you like add Discord as an OAuth option for Code TV. And if you're a member of the Code TV Discord, it's going to grant you the role of Code TV supporter for whatever tier you're on. We're adding new stuff where, like, if you join Web Dev Challenge, we're going to add the Web Dev Challenge alumni to your user in Discord. Just little things like that to try to improve the experience. We're setting up alumni channels. I've got some stuff going now where I know how long you've been a Code TV supporter, and I'm working toward milestone swag. I don't know what that means. Don't hold me to it yet, but it's something that I really like to figure out. Where we're gonna improve. We're getting better all the time, right? So it's just more ideas, more things that we can do, and the easier it is for us to hook these different systems together, the more complex goodies we can put together. So, yeah. All right, y'all. That is all I got time for. What's up, Shruti? Speaking of Web Dev Challenge alumni, thank you all for hanging out. I'm going to think it through. I don't know when exactly I'm going to take it, but I'm going to take probably a solid month vacation. Because I'm starting to feel the burnout. So updates on that probably in the Discord first, and then I'll trickle those out through other places. But as always, thanks for hanging out, and we will see you soon.